All right, so we are back, and this is going to be part 2 of Nystagmus and my life with my Nystagmus. Not everybody's life is the same journey when you have Nystagmus, so these are just my personal experiences and things that I feel or felt or have gone through with my Nystagmus. The last video that I did in concern or about Nystagmus was mainly just like what it was like when I grew up with it. Well, I still have it, but what it was like, what my life was like, how I found out I had it. Honestly, I didn't even know that there was a name for it back when I first mentioned it to my parents. I didn't find out it was called Nystagmus until I became an adult, basically. But anyway, that was part 1. So today is part 2. And in part 2, I'm going to talk about some of the difficulties with having Nystagmus and things that I'm still working through as an adult, that I have to kind of conquer. But things that I have also conquered as an adult with having Nystagmus. So let me think. Growing up, what was something that was a difficult thing for me was family members who just didn't understand. Like, my parents really didn't understand, but they're my parents, so they didn't treat me badly or mistreat me or treat me any differently because I had it, because I had 2 older brothers, and my older brothers, nobody in my family has it, just me. Other family members who just didn't understand, and oftentimes I was treated by family members like I was different in a negative way, like I couldn't comprehend certain things, or that I couldn't do certain things that my other cousins and siblings were able to do because my family members felt like there was something wrong with me or something that I wasn't able to do. So let's say, here's a prime example. When my my brothers were old enough to kind of start playing around with driving cars, I was never given the opportunity to do such. Cousins that were younger than me, brothers, they got the opportunity, but I was never offered that opportunity. And I think it's because certain family members they weren't educated. My parents weren't even educated. I wasn't even educated growing up. And people just didn't know what to do, how to take it, or how to really even treat me, unfortunately. So yeah, one hard thing was family members not really understanding what Nystagmus was, how it was affecting me, how it was going to affect me, and for them to treat me just like they treat everybody else. What was something else? Socially, when I got to high school, and even now as an adult, I just feel like sometimes it's always awkward. Like, because it's not that I'm ashamed of my Nystagmus, because I'm not ashamed of my Nystagmus. It just is what it is. I think it's awkward I don't want the other person to feel awkward in a sense of like, do I say something to her? Do I ask her? I'm curious. Like, how do I ask? Should I ask? Do I say anything? So I think that's kind of the awkwardness of being an adult or just being older and having Nystagmus. Like, do I explain to the person who doesn't have Nystagmus first? Like, hey, chill. Don't worry. Don't let it freak you out. My eyes just move. It's okay. Or do I just kind of like let it roll and just let the conversation flow? And if they ask, they ask. And if they don't, they don't. I think a lot of times I end up making Nystagmus a bigger deal than it really should be or needs to be in conversation and meeting people. But at the same time, I think after a while, when you have Nystagmus, you get tired of explaining the same thing over and over and over and over again to people. You really do. Oh, hey, my name's Sally, and hey, I got Nystagmus. Check it out. Yeah, you get tired of having to do an introduction for your eyes before you introduce who you are to people. I mean, it's tiresome. It's aggravating. But anyway, what's another thing? Going to the eye doctor. All right, now, I truly believe my parents did the best they thought they should have done growing up as far as my eye care was concerned. And maybe this is why I was a little uneducated growing up, because maybe they weren't as educated on nystagmus as they should have been. But nonetheless, every eye doctor that I went to see, mind you, I don't see a specialist. Now, I don't know if other people with nystagmus see a specialist. I'm not really sure. But if I did see a specialist, it was when I was a little girl, like, I don't know, under 10 years old. I don't see a specialist now, and I'm grown. Maybe I should. I don't know. To me, if there's not a cure, if there's not something that you can do to help it, or I don't know, there's nothing you can do, I don't need to see a specialist. Why? I don't have a reason to. So let me think. So when you go to the eye doctor, that's what I'm saying. When you go to the eye doctor, and the eye doctor, I'm talking like just any old eye doctor, okay? And they act like they have never seen nystagmus. And maybe it's true. Maybe they've read about it in their study books, because they went to college to be an eye doctor, right? Okay. You would think that they would not be totally blown away by seeing nystagmus in the flesh. Okay, let me tell y'all this funny story real quick. I will never forget the time I went to this new eye doctor, okay? I don't know if I can say names on here or not, but anyway, I went to this new eye doctor. They had this super good deal where I think you buy like 2 pair of glasses for like $69.99. It was dope, okay, cool. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to get on that boat, get me 2 new pair of glasses, whatever. Go check, they checked me out. The guy, the eye doctor, he is so thrown off by him seeing my nystagmus. This was his response, y'all. Hold up. This was the response. Whoa. Do you know your eyes are moving? And I just was like, Crystal, you got 2 choices. You can either play this or you can play this. So I was like, what? What do you mean my eyes are moving? And he was like, yeah, they're moving. Like they're moving side to side. And I was like, what? And he was like, no one has ever told you that? And I was like, no, never really ever said anything like that. So anyway, so long story short, right, I let him go on for like 5 minutes. And I was like, sir, excuse me. I've known I've had nystagmus my entire life. I just was messing with you because I assumed because you were an eye doctor, you have seen this or just maybe read about it so it wouldn't surprise you in the way that it did. But I guess you skipped that chapter in your book. So anyway, we laughed about that and we joked or whatever, but an eye doctor, like you're an eye doctor, my guy. How? You're an eye doctor and you're an eye doctor who's never seen this before. Not only have you never seen it, but you act like you've never read about it in the books that you studied to get the degree you got. Neither here nor there. Anyway, what's another something that's awkward or made me feel awkward with my nystagmus? Oh, okay. So in my first video, I mentioned I've had several jobs. I've had jobs my whole life. Okay. Some jobs, okay, during their orientation phase, they have you do these icebreakers, right? For a person with an eye condition such as nystagmus, I absolutely hated, okay, having to do the icebreaker during orientation where you had to stand face to face with a person, okay, me, other person, and y'all had to stare at each other like, when you have nystagmus, that's like a no. It's like, dang, I'm always like pre-telling people what I got before I tell them. Now I've really got to pre-tell you this before we do this staring contest that we never really asked to do, but we got to do it because it's a part of orientation and we just getting this new job. So like, now it's me and it's the other person and we're staring and now I'm looking at them. They're looking at me like, what the freak is going on here? And now they're uncomfortable. So they start like moving, looking down, moving. And I'm just kind of like, hey, listen, Sally, I got nystagmus and it's okay. No, it's okay. I know you're a little uncomfortable, but it's all good. Promise. It's okay. So, anyway. Orientation icebreakers where you gotta stare face to face with people that you've never met before and explain but not explain and be confident. Like, yep, it's me, Sally. I just move and it's okay. I know it's a staring contest, but I'm about to win this because like you can't keep up. So yeah. No, I'm just joking. What's something else? So those like work orientation icebreakers where you have to stare at people. Okay, growing up where kids used to play the staring game, like I knew I was a beast at that because like you're not gonna be able to like I can stare and not blink, but I'm gonna make you blink because you trying to figure out how my eyes are moving that quick, so it's gonna make you blink. So I win. Yeah, anywho. So what are some other things that are like awkward, uncomfortable for me? I talked about the orientation job stuff. I talked about family members who just don't understand. I talked about with eye doctors, driving. If you are a person with nystagmus and you are blessed to be able to drive, getting pulled over by a cop. Now, in my entire driving history, I'm 30 years old and I've been driving since I was 15. So for 15 years I've been driving. I've been pulled over once by an officer. Just one time, just once. That doesn't mean I'm a great driver. It just means I've only been pulled over one time. Anyway, when you get pulled over, I'm not saying you have to tell the police officer or whoever it is that stopped you. I'm not saying you have to tell them ahead of time. But what I am telling you is that they will assume that you were drunk or like intoxicated. You're under the influence of something if they do not understand or know that you have nystagmus, okay? Because when I got pulled over for my tags. Had nothing to do with my speed and it just was my tags. And I got, he pulled me over or whatever, and I'm talking to him and he's like, ma'am, are you under the influence? And I was like, sir, you pulled me for my tags. Why are you asking me about am I under the influence? And he's like, well, I noticed that your eyes are moving. And I was like, oh no, that's just my nystagmus. So that was kind of like just it. And he was unclear about what nystagmus was. So I explained it to him and he was like, oh, okay, so I never knew that. My point is that if you have nystagmus, I don't know if you want to keep a paper in your car from your doctor so that when you get pulled over, you got something to help them understand that like, we don't need to do a breathalyzer. I don't need to get out, walk the plank, say my ABCs backwards, which I don't know why they make people do that anyway, say their ABCs backwards, because even when you are sober, can you really say your ABCs backwards? Like, for real. C-Y-W. Anyway, let me not embarrass myself, but y'all know what I'm saying. Who can really say their ABCs backwards even on a sober brain? Okay. Police officer, orientation, doctor, family, guys. I'm a girl, so I'm talking about guys. You might be a guy, so you would be talking about girls or whatever your preference is. I don't know. This is not my thing. I'm talking about me. So it is definitely it's definitely awkward when you're having to meet people and you know, like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. You know you're a good person. You know, like, your personality has nothing to do with a person liking you because of your nystagmus or not liking you because of your nystagmus. I don't know how to explain it other than just to say nystagmus is something at the end of the day you are just going to have to know that some situations are going to be awkward, but it's all about you as the person and how you make the situation. If you make it awkward, you're going to feel awkward, the other person's going to feel awkward. So in what I'm trying to say is when you're talking about meeting people who you're interested in, guys, girls, whomever, it's up to you to make the situation awkward or not awkward. And I think the last thing that I'm going to say, because I'm coming up on about 14 minutes now, or 15 minutes. The last thing I'm going to say is, because we have nystagmus does not make us any less than a person who doesn't have nystagmus. It's not, oh, my name is Sally, I have nystagmus, but I'm a good person. No. My name is Sally. I have nystagmus, and I'm a dope person. And I think even for me, I have to get used to. That's just it. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. That's it. That's just what it is. And it's either a person likes you for you or they don't. And nystagmus is a part of who I am. So at the end of the day, you either like me for me or you don't. And if you don't, that's good. That saves me a bunch of time. Saves you, saves me, saves whoever, just in life in general. Saves you a bunch of time with having to waste your time with a person who really doesn't like everything about you, and you're worth everything. So, anywho, did my makeup today, y'all. Well, no, I'm lying. I just did my brows and my eye. I just went bare on the face today. Coconut oil. That's pretty much it. Some earrings and my beanie. That's pretty much it. Just nothing extravagant. My hair I probably need to take out soon, but maybe one day I'll do a video with me doing my makeup, because I know that's another thing. Going to get your makeup, ladies, gentlemen, whoever you are, if you have nystagmus and you do makeup, you get your makeup done. Okay, they get very close and personal when they're doing makeup. Okay, and they're always like close. They're always super close, and you have to tell them, when they say look up here. Look where? Up here? All the way up there? And they're like, no, up. I mean, I am looking up. I'm looking up. Promise, I'm looking up. I don't know. It's the humor that because people don't understand, they just don't know, right? That's just like, if I were to have some type of skin condition, all right, that people can't see, I might be insecure about my skin condition, and if somebody saw it, they might, ask a question. It's because they're curious. They don't know. They have no idea. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't ask certain things, because people sometimes do ask things that sometimes you just don't need to ask. But we can see our insecurity, if it's an insecurity of yours. Other people have insecurities, and they walk around, and we may not be able to see their insecurity. That doesn't mean that we have to carry ourselves any differently, because our I don't even want to say flaw. Some people feel like it's a flaw. Some people feel like it's an insecurity. Some people feel like it's not a problem at all. Some people just feel like walking around, being able to visually see it, makes them less of a person, and it doesn't. And I'm just here to say, we're no less than anybody else. All right, so keep your head up. And yeah, that's it. If you are interested in learning more about nystagmus, or just like my personal experiences with nystagmus, leave me a comment below. Subscribe to the channel. Maybe I'll make more videos that have to do with nystagmus, or just my life in general, or just life experiences in general. And yeah, or not subscribe. I mean, however you want to do it. Wherever you want to do it. You all take care. Be beautiful and be blessed.